The United Youth Party actually started in 2013 when I was a teacher at the Roberto Clemente Charter School in Allentown. We had an after-school group that actually a lot of people in the city know us because we did the Allentown School District walkouts in 2015, protesting the Allentown School District. After that, we had a few years off, and then we came back and said we had to help young people run for office in Allentown. And the first person that we ran a campaign for was now Councilwoman Natalie Santos.
So back in 2020, when the Black Lives Matter protests started up again, that's when I started to get more involved in social justice. And one of the things that kept on being brought up is how to make effective change, being in a position of power, especially young people. So that's what I decided to do.
Natalie's campaign was the first campaign that I worked on from the beginning to the end. To be honest, I was sitting on the sidelines politically for about 10 years. I was born and raised in Allentown, and it's just something I always paid attention to, and I realized that it was a really a fragile state, that somebody in the city who was not a career politician would be able to win a citywide election. Especially when I met up with, in 2018, I met up with Hillary Clines during the Mark Pinsley campaign, and I realized that with her resources and know-how, we would be able to get a young person elected to city council.
So Mike and I had talked about getting younger people to run for offices, and Natalie was one of the candidates that was like really promising. So I had met with her, and she actually really impressed me. The first video that we did with her, her message really, it actually brought me to tears, because I realized that she represents so many voices in a city that don't have representation. And you know, she kind of won me over at that moment, because she has a quiet strength about her that I think that really translates into motivating people to vote and get involved.
So basically, it was a lot of meeting new people and going to events and being out of my comfort zone. But I think it was a great experience because I feel like I grew as a person, pushing myself to do things that I wouldn't usually do. But yeah, it was a wild ride. But luckily I had people that had been through that process already, so they could help me through it.
There's really not many or much legislation that's proposed that is based for the youth. The things that they're most aware about and that matters most to them. One of them being services, youth services, environmental issues, and things of that nature.
Hopefully we're more sensitive towards the climate crisis, because it is very high stakes, especially now. So yeah, hopefully surrounding the climate crisis we can do better. Whatever we are developing in the city, whatever we're doing new developments, those buildings should have to have a certain percentage of renewable resource or solar panels, you know what I mean? But yeah, in order to become more sustainable, we need to lower our carbon outtakes.
But I think one of the things that I think has changed significantly since younger people have been elected in Allentown is that the other side has a voice now. It's not just the administration and the police department that are having their opinions listened to. I'm seeing a lot more engagement even with the police department and the community on trying to bridge that gap as best they can here. I think not having young voices in the room definitely removes some of that urgency.
I feel that for this city, this entire city's history, it just wasn't a possibility for young people in their low 20s or mid 20s to get involved in local politics. And now I think with the successful campaign with Councilwoman Natalie Santos, it is a possibility. And we're starting to see that change now with dozens and dozens of young people reaching out saying, hey, what's the next position that I could run for? I'm interested.
Do your homework, like anything. Find out what the basic rules are of running for office are in your area, and I would say seek out people that are in in your circle or adjacent to your circle that might be able to get you introductions to people that know a little bit more about politics in your local area.
Having somebody with experience on the team is going to be super important. I never ran a campaign before. That's why in order to move forward, I needed to have Hillary Klein's part of the team. And without her, there's no way we would have been successful.
Don't wake up in the morning or 2 months before an election and think, I'm going to run for office. You've already missed the ball by that time. Like, do your homework and plan it out for a year. Figure out what it's going to take to win, and then announce your campaign when you're ready to actually win it.
All of the platform ideas should already be written out. All of the media content should already be created before they even publicly announce. That way they're not scrambling while the campaign's going on, when really, while the campaign's going on, their most effective way to reach the constituents, especially here in Allentown, was to go door knocking and meet people face to face.
There's so many offices that you can run for. There are commissions that you can ask to be appointed to in your communities, whether it's like the Parks Commission or anything like that, that they're always looking for volunteers. It's a really good way to network and get more involved if you want to run for office.
Hopefully, in the future, Allentown will have more young politicians. I've already had people reach out to me and say that they want help running for something in their city, so I think that's super exciting. And I hope that more people can do that so that we can have a brighter future.